At 4 a.m. on October 21st, 2025, along a tight ravine near the Belgorod boundary with Russia, a convoy advanced stealthily through the shadows. 23 armored vehicles, transporting 120 tons of sophisticated drone parts, smuggled from China, capable of assembling 2,000 kamikaze drones, valued at more than $120 million for Moscow. It was a critical asset, a delivery that might transform Ukraine's airspace into a blazing inferno. Protected by 4 Pantsir S-1 systems, 4 reinforced carriers, 10 scout drones, and 87 crack troops. The caravan was considered invincible, but Ukraine was monitoring closely. Surveillance UAVs trailed the formation for hours, transmitting live video to Kyiv's operations center. Swiftly, 100 Wild Hornet drones surged across the nocturnal heavens. From Ukrainian territory, racing toward the canyon. Instantly, the hillside ignited, a clash of flames, metal, and turmoil in a single, fierce pulse. Could Russia's protections endure the assault or be entombed within? Let's uncover. October 21st, 2025, 4 a.m., right outside Belgorod. Under the dim shine of spotlights, a string of 10 shipping crates inched along the frozen pavement, their metal flanks adorned with bogus firm insignias. Kavrov freight. To any orbital viewer, they seemed like regular commercial rigs, but data amassed by Ukraine's Horizon 12 system revealed a contrasting narrative. Within those crates resided over 120 tons of elite drone elements, imported from China via Vladivostok port, 60,000 lithium-ion battery units, 10,000 accurate brushless engines, 5,000 autopilot modules, and numerous boxes of carbon fiber structures, sufficient to produce 2,000 attack drones, the sort that could overshadow Kiev's skies for extended periods. If the load arrived at its ultimate site, Russia's primary drone manufacturing site in Kazan, it would shift the war's equilibrium. The Russians recognized this, explaining the convoy's encasement in fortification and caution. Positioned at head and tail were 4 Pantsir S-1 airshield vehicles, Rather arrays, continuously surveying the dark heavens. Amid them, 4 armored troop movers with hex barrel armaments and 20 top-tier Spetsnaz fighters. Another 50 warriors occupied 5 soldier transports, prepared to mobilize instantly. Overhead, 10 recon drones cycled in ceaseless patterns, 5 engaged, 5 replenishing, forwarding visuals to a Russian control hub every 5 seconds. No avian, no mist, no silhouette eluded their gaze. For Moscow, this procession was unassailable, a roving stronghold. But hundreds of miles off, in a softly illuminated ops chamber in Dnipro, Ukrainian commanders eyed the identical transmission, intercepted from the convoy's drone connection. One of them murmured, "If the convoy makes it to Kazan, Russia unleashes a horde of devices, able to assault every Ukrainian metropolis simultaneously. But if thwarted tonight before daybreak, that horde perishes before inception." The query suspended in the atmosphere was chilling and ultimate. Could Ukraine demolish the convoy prior to its dissolution into Russia's interior? 3 hours following the Belgorod border crossing, the command arrived via a protected, coded link from Kyiv. Ambush at the pass. Avoid innocence. Flawless execution. The strategy had been forged discreetly across weeks. Ukraine's intel groups had delineated every land contour. A slim highland corridor only 12 miles from the edge, where the trail twisted amid 2 steep bluffs. The Russians lacked options but to traverse it. To them, merely another road segment. To Ukraine, the ideal death trap. Pre-dawn, 4 Ukrainian operatives, attired as laborers, each gripped a tiny ebony activator connected to 4 concealed explosives, 2 at the canyon's entry, 2 at the outlet, each gadget interred under stones, tethered to a portable detonator no larger than a device. Precision was crucial. Too soon. And the front Pantsir might train its weaponry on the slope, too tardy, and the convoy would slip free. They had held position for 3 hours. The agents remained still in shallow trenches, blanketed with soil and foliage, countenances coated in dirt, forms chilled from immobility. Insects pierced their coverings. One, the novice, had clutched the initiator so long that moisture accumulated under his mitts. He hadn't budged, not even for necessities, his whole being anchored in vigilance. He pondered home briefly, then dismissed it. Distant, in a Dnipro command vault, the Ukrainian task chief observed the icons on his orbital chart merge. The space timed with the convoy's sluggish advance toward the pass. As the lead panzer probed the defile, the colonel's voice resonated over the links. Even, resolute, definitive. All units gear up to trigger the spark. The peaks lingered in quietude, suspending respiration. The snare was laid. Prior to the initial detonation rends the gloom. Demonstrate backing with a thumbs up and subscription. Now, observe the snare's activation. 5 a.m. The convoy inched into the gorge, motors echoing betwixt cliffs, ascending like fortress ramparts. 2 Panzer ones guided, antennas canvassing the bluffs in expansive sweeps. Following, the carriers, troop rigs, and 10 cargo crates, harboring Russia's drone essence. Deliberate and firm, the leader uttered, his tone resounding via comms. He had directed 1 Panzer and 1 armored unit to scout forward, their detectors probing every peak, every recess. Aloft, 10 recon drones aligned in array, 5 vigilant, 5 restoring, relaying live captures to base. Every 5 ticks, all appeared tranquil, excessively so. Then the Highlands burst forth, the premier dual detonations, unleashed with 800 pounds of TNT force, elevating the vanguard Panzer, toppling it, fragmenting to bits. Seconds on, a tertiary blast ravaged the rear, succeeded by a lagged 4th charge. Erupting D-seconds delayed as the procession paused mid-pass. The postponement, due to an agent's moist, perspiring palm, proved impeccable. The rigs halted at precise Ukrainian plotted points. Soil yielded around them. Nearly 4,000 cubic feet of stone cascading, barricading both portals in grit and blaze. A carrier overturned. Another pulverized beneath tumbling rock. Ether saturated with whales, haze, and the sharp sting of gore and petroleum. Ambush. Frontal engagement. A voice thundered over links. Spetsnaz vaulted from transports, pressing against bluffs. Firearms elevated. The APC multi-barrels discharged. 3,000 rounds per minute, etching radiant arcs across elevations. The pass reverberated with combat's din, but foes remained phantom. Each Russian volley disclosed their loci, every salvo illuminating forms against fumes. A fuel rig combusted, the blast so intense, it echoed on seismic monitors 20 miles distant. Inferno vaulted the canyon barriers, transmuting night to fiery dawn. The heat at 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit warped all transmissions. Panzer detectors were sightless, swamped by remnants. In their cabins, handlers swore and pounded inert displays. The leader bellowed into his earpiece. Neutralize the crests. Locate them. Yet nothing to unearth. The bluffs replied with void. Each Russian flash exposed their stance. Every gunfire burst, silhouetting them against the smog. Then a tanker blazed. The detonation so potent, it logged on distant quake sensors. Fire leaped canyon walls, morphing night to molten day. Leftover rigs dissolved into dark outlines. Personnel wheezed and faltered amid soot and rubble. Poise vanished, atmosphere dense with terror. From 2 miles, a Ukrainian chief observed via scopes. The pass incinerated like a kiln, smoke towers soaring 600 feet. His voice firm on radio. Phase 2, deploy the cluster. The trap concluded, the genuine offensive imminent. Hold on, the contest barely started. At 5 a.m., from 5 covert launch spots, dispersed over expansive meadows 3 miles off, 100 Wild Hornet suicide drones erupted airborne, their motors wailing at 150 miles per hour, ascending rapidly before clinging to peaks. They skimmed low, scarcely 40 feet above soil, leveraging bluffs for radar evasion. Each bore a 12-pound thermobaric warhead, compact yet lethal, sufficient to fuse metal. As they topped the crest, onboard tech, harmonized into a singular virtual swarm intellect. From above, they appeared as a rippling metallic tide, cleaving the twilight. In the gorge, Russian forces still staggered from prior blasts. 37 troops lost, 2 panzers demolished, fire surging beyond 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. The surviving two Pansirs pursued ghost signals, their displays jumbled by wreckage and heat. Then, warnings shrieked once more. A dozen pings emerged, then 20, then 50. Inbound, low-altitude, diverse vectors, the primary tech yelled. He scarcely concluded, ere the firmament teemed with piercing specks. The Pansirs retaliated, each armament expelling 2,500 rounds per minute. Tracer paths, carving the hazy atmosphere. The bluffs sparked with impacts and resounding boom. The drones diverged into phases, utilizing the landscape's obscured angles to plunge undetected. In 30 seconds, the multitude crested and descended into the canyon. 30 were fragmented by shards, but the leftover 70 advanced. They plummeted like celestial darts. 50 targeted the fortified rigs and Pansirs. The Premier collided with an APC laterally, liquefying its hex-barrel gun into slag. A second rammed a soldier transport, detonating fuel and munitions. In moments, the pass resounded with interweaving blasts, each akin to 20 pounds of TNT, propelling men and rending alloy. Troops bellowed directives, but channels failed, overloaded by electromagnetic disruption. From the shock surges, one Pansir attempted realignment its operator, backing into smoldering remnants. Overdue, 3 drones assaulted frontally, the fused eruption evaporating the dome. The final 20 swerved abruptly and fixed on the cargo crates. They struck in tandems, dual per rig. The collisions landed like mallets, 10 blasts in sequence, each hurling a 40-foot flame geyser. The ether turned tangerine, the terrain fractured, and then came quietude. As the haze started to dissipate, the pass was obliterated, all 10 containers ruined. 87 individuals lost or vanished. A dark smoke column, ascending 700 feet into the dawn heavens, observable from the frontier proper. From a vanguard station, the Ukrainian watcher murmured into his device, voice firm and frigid. All teams, retreat. The horde accomplished its mission. The confrontation ended, but the pass still throbbed with blaze. Air wavered from the intensity. Depressions, warped steel, and armored husks scattered like conflict's debris yard. What had been a 23-vehicle train and 8-7 lives, now a half-mile conflagration. From a Ukrainian oversight, UAV overhead, the visuals were surreal. 10 crates fractured open, like compressed beverage vessels. The contents, 120 tons of lithium cells, carbon composites, and digital hearts, combusting in poisonous sapphire. The canyon base heat surpassed 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit, sufficient to dissolve the apparatus. Russia anticipated would reverse the war. For 6 hours, ebony fumes ascended 2,000 feet into the morn, discernible from dual border flanks. Russian salvage rotors approached but withdrew from follow-up blasts. The quakes jarred panes in proximate Belgorod. At 8 a.m., Moscow ultimately verified what their sensors knew. The caravan eradicated. The damages transcended the transports. Within those holds lay the foundation of Russia's fresh drone armada, adequate for 2,000 suicide UAVs, each priced around $60,000. In a flash, a prospective $120 million assault force had been nullified. The conduit, linking China's plants to Russia's lines, severed abruptly. In the Kremlin, heavy hush enveloped the strategy chamber. Dispatches detailed utter ruin, communication loss, 0 survivors. Insurers in Shanghai halted forthcoming deliveries. The Chinese producers vanished from contact. Within a day, Russia's UAV initiative suffered a delay no rocket barrage could match. Now lagging months, perhaps a year. For Ukraine, triumph gauged not in debris, but endurance. By dawn, all 4 mine layers safely repatriated. Their ops spanned 12 hours, costing scarcely $18,000, a sliver of one Panzer projectile's expense. Such is warfare's harsh calculus. Inside Trump shielding, accuracy outstrips quantity, and valor seals the outcome. As sunlight bathed the fuming pass, a Ukrainian officer murmured to his squad, "Metal replenishable. lives irreplaceable. For distant observers of this strife, it transcended a map's blast, a cue that minimal rebellion, enacted by unyielding souls, can recalibrate global scales. The heights may quiet, but narratives like this resonate beyond combat zones. What implications does this raid hold for contemporary battle's evolution and Russia's forthcoming maneuver? Share your insights below. If you hold that knowledge and bravery triumph in conflicts, endorse, disseminate this tale, and subscribe for further authentic ops that altered all.